Welcome back to GoodKnitKisses. I'm your host, Kristen, and today we are talking about how to add a faux fur trimmed edge on your knitting or crochet. And we are going to be crocheting this on today. We're going to be using Lion Brand Yarns Pelt, and this is in color Mink. There's also a color called Sable, and it has more of a brown with a bit of a purpley tone to it. And I like the Mink. It's nice and dark, very dark brown and near like a black brown. So this has a very nice hand to it. It drapes really well. And thank you to Lion Brand Yarns for providing this yarn to us today. You are going to need, for a large project, you probably want to go ahead and get 3 balls of it. I'm able to actually pull 3 strands from one ball of this at a time, and I'll show you that in a technique. Also, you're going to need to know how to double crochet. And look in the links below. Down below, you'll find a link to get the yarn, a link for how to double crochet, and also a link to a slower version of the technique I'm going to show you for pulling 3 balls, 3 strands out of one ball. So let's get started. Okay, so you're going to need an appropriate hook for the gauge of yarn that you've got going on your regular project. I'm using an M or a size 13, which is a 9.0 millimeter today, and that's because I'm pulling 3 strands, and I also want to be able to get through here. But also, I can see the stitches better on this big bamboo needle. Also, the bamboo tends to catch the yarn a little bit better, and it doesn't slide off quite so easy. Sometimes on a plastic or metal needle, it'll just go too fast for me on this type of fancy yarn. Okay, so here's the pelt, and I'm gonna show you the technique. You want to grab from 3 balls at the same time and have 3 strands, or do what I'm doing here. I'm gonna make a slip knot, okay, and you're gonna make it kind of big. I'm gonna set my hook down, make it big. Okay, now when you've got the big hole here for the slip knot, go ahead and pull through your working yarn, okay? So we're being kind of loose with this. Now, at the same time, I'm going to pull down on the tail. Let me move this sample out of the way. I'm going to pull down on the tail, okay? And then now I'm going to pull up, okay? Now I've got this loop here that was the beginning loop, and then I made a new loop. I'm going to pull and make a really long loop here, okay? And you can pull this tight. Now, this is now going to be the beginning of my tail here. You see I have a big loop here. This is 1 strand. This is the 2nd strand. And now move your working yarn over here. See how this is the 3rd strand? Okay, so now let's move this over here. Now when I grab this, I have 3 strands in my left hand here. And then this tail is over here. Now if you're left-handed, you can flip how you hold it. Okay, so now we have a 1-stranded tail and a 3-stranded working yarn here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make a new slip knot so that my slip knot has 3 strands on it. Okay. And now I have this tail that's kind of bulky right here and then thin. This will get worked in. Now, go ahead and put your hook on here so you can find this little 3-hole thing. Okay, so now it's on there good. Let's come down to the end here, and I'm going to show you how to work this, okay? The most difficult part of this project is just learning how to do the 3 balls in one, and actually the 3 strands in one. But once you get this technique, you may end up using it on a lot of other projects you want to bulk up really fast. Okay, so, sorry, I'm doing it without even telling you. Okay, so here's the large hole. So we want to just kind of pull on it and make it longer. And then once you get it long enough, like say I pull this out like an arm's length, I'm not going to do that on camera because there's just not enough room. But once I do that, I'm going to pull on this working strand here, pull it up through the loop. Okay, I'm going to put my yarn over here so it's less confusing. Okay, so see how when I tug on it, it starts pulling on this is the working strand that's moving. It starts pulling it like this. And once you pull it down, you're making more strands. So now let's just push this to the side. And you can see where it joins up. See, here's a join, and here's a join. Okay, so for a slower video, go check that out. All right, now that we've got our strands ready, let's get started. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, this is my hood here, and I started where it sort of elbows out. I've got this little spot here where I had a buttonhole, and then I just started at the corner here. So if it's an edging around a lovey or whatever you're doing, just start on one corner or around the side of a corner, and then when you finish, you'll finish stopping it here. Now what I did is I kind of fudged in the beginning. I sort of made a half double crochet, but really you're just trying to get it all started. So it's going to kind of diminish down. So if you want to make a small stitch to begin with, that's fine. I made a very small sample of where that would sort of elbow out on a project for you. So this is the part, if you're doing the hood, you want to just start your stitch right here, right where the corner meets. For this tutorial, I'm going to do it here. So let's say you're just doing an edging for anything. Let's do it here. So here's my corner. We're going to put our hook in here, okay, just right in the corner. Grab your working strand, which is of course the 3 strands, pull it through. Okay, now we're just going to do a slip stitch. Okay, now I just made it look easy. I'm going to tell you the first time I did it, it took me a moment because I kept messing up the 3 strands. So once you get this on here, the first couple of stitches, it'll just become second nature. Okay, now this is a garter stitch in a knit pattern, so I actually ended up going into every other hole. So if you have to do every single stitch across, then do that. It just depends on the pattern you're doing. Okay, so now that I'm in there, let's go ahead and we'll do a double crochet and start off, because we're going to wrap around our hook, then we're going to put it in the hole, the next one, then grab the yarn again, pull up through. You should have 3 sets of loops, 1, 2, 3. Now wrap around again, pull through the first set of loops, pull through the second set of loops, and then you should have 2 loops left on here. Okay, now we're going to wrap around again and pull through all of them. Okay, make sure and turn your hook downward so you get that teardrop and you get all of them. Okay, so there that is. Now I understand you might have to pause your video and rewind again. Please don't get frustrated with me. You just have to practice it a few times. And if you want to practice the technique with the less fuzzy yarn at first, then go ahead and do that. Okay, if you're new to crochet. Okay, so now we're going to go into the next step. You're going to wrap around, then go into the next stitch from the top. I'm just grabbing this edge stitch here, or you could grab your cast on 2 stitches. This is a chain, so I'm going through both of them. Okay, so I've already wrapped around. I'm going to wrap around again, and then wrap around again, pull through 2. And I think I actually have 4 on here, but I'm just going to let it fudge. I'm just going to show you that because this is very forgiving, this pelt. So go ahead and grab it again and go all the way around. And honestly, I think it's okay if you mess up, because if you have a couple of, if your double crochet isn't perfect on this, it's actually good, because, you know, a real animal is not going to be perfect either. So you're going to see that billowing with all this hair. All right, so now I've done that stitch, wrap around, go down here, grab again. And so we're just going in all of these edge stitches, which technically it does that every other row on my pattern. So, oh, you know what? I just made that a half double crochet. Well, that's okay. That pulls my point. So what I'm doing is I'm continuing to go around, make sure to yarn over and pull through. Now I did something just now. Let's see. I didn't pull through like your 3 strands. So let me show you how to see. I just fixed that in front of you. See where my my loop was? I wasn't paying attention, so I need to pull through again. And like I said, I would pull through longer. Like say I'm going to pull this out. I'll do this an arm's length here. Okay. So I've got about a yard hanging off the end there, so it should be good to go. So just continue going around, wrap around, go through, pull through. Let's see, so put it in the stitch, yarn over, pull it out, yarn over again, go through 2, yarn over again, go through 2 more. Okay, so you see how this is starting to fuzz up on you. And then when you go around and you hit a corner, just chain 2, go chain 1, chain 2 when you're at the corner. So say we were there, we would have double crocheted here, and then at the end just chain 2 and then go back in that same hole again, and it will turn that corner nicely to you. So let's say we're ready to finish off. I'm going to do my last double crochet. We're going to stop it at this point, because on that hood one you would stop sort of in the middle of a row. So we'll go ahead and finish off. Just grab into the very last stitch that you want to finish with, and we're just going to do a slip stitch. So pull that on through, and then pull it on through again, okay? And then yarn over and finish off. So you're just yarning over once, pulling through, grabbing these strands, cut it, okay? Pull out that working strand. Okay. So now all that's left is this little fuzz to work in. So you're just going to take your hook that doesn't have anything on it, pull this back through to start weaving it. Okay, so go back in through the back of one of your stitches and just start working your way back through what you just did. Okay, so see, it'll hide. I mean, it's really simple to hide. So do that with the beginning strand as well, and you have got a nice little edge to your project. So, all right. Well, thank you again for tuning in to Good Knit Kisses. And again, thank you to Lion Brand Yarns for the pelt yarn. It is super, super soft, and I love it. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye-bye.